A round of applause for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the first president to use the military to defend and protect another country. Meanwhile, terrorists, bandits, and kidnappers, they do dirty December for his own country. A round of applause, Your Excellency. We're not supposed to do Guinness Book of Record. I say, Ori Buruku Lenshi. So can we now agree, say that the only reason why terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and insecurity no go end for Nigeria is not because Nigeria military does not have capacity to end it. The only reason why terrorism no go end for Nigeria is because the real terrorists are in government. Can we now agree that Nigeria military have the capacity, but it is the political will and the politicians that are the problem of Nigeria? So Nigerian president order military to go Benin Republic. They say coup won't happen for them. They go there, they use fighter jets on air and on land to defend the country. The tweet where they even pay me pass now, the one where President Tinubu put out, he said earlier today on my orders, the Nigerian armed forces stood gallantly in defense and protection of constitutional order in Benin Republic. Shame on you, Nigerian leadership. Shame on you, Nigerian government.
It don't happen, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, as I'm talking to you now, everywhere don't scatter as Nigerians has fallout, saying Higaba, blast Tinubu APC and present leaders over what happened recently. But relax, let me gist you. Now, it is no longer news that there was a failed coup d'etat that happened in Benin Republic, Cotonou, here a few days ago, which according to what we had, some soldiers gathered themselves, launched attack on the present leaders, which according to them, they say that they are no longer happy with what is going on in the country and they want to take over the government from the present leader in Cotonou, which immediately the thing happened. We even heard that they took over the national television in Cotonou, and of course, the president disappeared. But immediately Tinubu here, that is 2 seconds, he swing into action. And according to what he tweeted, he said that he gave order for our men, our garant officer, to restore law and order in Cotonou, which we saw on a video where Nigerian fighter jet was launching operation in Cotonou. And according to what we heard, they said that immediately the gallant officer landed, they were able to restore law and order and everything was calmed down and the president returned to his seat. But immediately the thing happened, that is 2 seconds, Nigerians saying Higaba, say lie. So we even have men who can fly fighter jet accompanied with Grand Krapoku to restore law and order in another country. So why is it that bandits, kidnappers, and Fulani herdsmen are not being brought to order in this country? Abi they know they break law and order, or what is actually going on? In fact, now they begin give Tinubu APC and all the present leaders buto. In fact, even when the news come to Arise News, no be small something happen. But of course, I am going to allow you to listen to what people have to say concerning what happened and what is going on in this country. But as you are watching, make sure you are sharing your thought with me on the comment section. Share the video and also subscribe for more updates. And after that, I'll be back. Let's go there.
President Tinubu, imagine say that tweet being read, say, on my orders as Nigeria's president, I have ordered and the Department of National Intelligence have released the names of all sponsors of terrorism. And on my orders, the Nigerian Armed Forces is carrying out an air campaign against every hideout of terrorists in Nigeria. They will be met with untold fire and unprecedented power of the Nigerian military. Imagine what that kind of tweet would have read. Imagine the happiness when Nigerians for use and they do. But you say, no, you are defending following an ECOWAS treaty on your this thing. They have gone to defend this thing in Benin Republic. Ori Buruku Lenshe, Nigerian government. Ori Buruku Lenshe. And the thing we go destroy APC before corruption and criminality is hypocrisy. The same by your Nonuga will be the running mouth. And Nigerians are calling on foreign this thing to come and intervene. We shall not forget. So it's good for una to go and intervene in a foreign country. But Nigerians cannot call on America to help them when killings they happen like saying a killings festival we they do for Nigeria. They said that the Benin Republic, they made the first request, the second request, and you sent military without approval of National Assembly. But Nigerians cannot call on another government. Now only when I get ECOWAS treaty, we will have no United Nations treaty to call on a foreign intervention to help us to end insecurity. Ori Buruku Lenshe. Ori Buruku Lenshe, Nigerian government. That is why Minister for Defense, the one we don't come out, he said that some terrorists they are in the bush where we say bombs cannot reach there. Bombs not fit reach there, but bombs fit reach Benin Republic to restore constitutional order. The time where coup happened for Niger, National Assembly said no, there should be no military intervention. What is the difference between Niger and Benin Republic? Why we not go Niger but we go Benin Republic? Oshi Lenshe. Now una self una they deceive. All this one where una they do, una know how to save democracy for Benin. But Benin Republic, according to their own constitution, presidential term limit is 5 years. Under this president, Patrice Talon, they don't convert them, amend them to become 7 years. Una not like military coup, but civilians go they do civilian coup against democracy. Una not go see that one until when petrol jam fire, everybody go start to shout, no, because French presidents don't call. That thing where una they hide from France, one day Nigerians go know. One day Nigerians go know. But Mr. President, make una not forget, say election riggers are also coup plotters. Election rigging is a coup against democracy. So the same way when una they fight coup for other countries or military coup anywhere, now so make una get the same energy to fight against rigging of election. No, not be say una no want military take over, but una go they plan to the rig election. Ori buruku ni o shini. The same way where you don't order, Mr. President, make the restore order to another country. KB state governor for your state, he talks say before terrorists go pack children for KB state, somebody gave order for military to withdraw from the school. Mr. President, can you also on your orders find out who gave the orders? Who ordered military and security to come out from school before they go kidnap the children? And how were they recovered? Was a ransom paid? Mr. President, what is good for the Giz is good for the Benin people. What is good for the Benin should be good for the Owina people. Mr. President, if we not fit answer this question and we they claim to protect another country and leave our own home on fire, Ori buruku nio, Mr. President, Nigerians, when I don't see and finish, it is not the military, it is not because we do not have capacity to end it. It is because what you are dealing with is part of the governance structure. And until you weed out the terrorist financiers and supporters in government, Nigeria is just playing. We they whine ourselves, we they deceive ourselves. Congratulations, Mr. President, on restoring order to Benin Republic. We hope when we as Nigerians also call for foreign intervention to help us when as you fail to protect us, it no go be problem because not be only ECOWAS treaty day, United Nations self get treaty, make them save our lives and end the killings, the needless shedding of blood in Nigeria. God bless Nigeria.
Good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending in the Republic of Benin, discussing reactions to the attempted military coup, which was thwarted by the government after soldiers appeared on national television early Sunday morning, claiming to have seized power. A group of at least 8 soldiers, led by Lieutenant Colonel Pascal Tigri, stormed the country's state television, announcing the removal of President Patrice Talon and the dissolution of all state institutions. The soldiers, identifying themselves as Military Committee for Refoundation, declared the suspension of the constitution and all political party activities until further notice. They also claimed to have closed the country's borders, resulting in unrest in parts of the country, with a group of demonstrators chanting "Down with Talon" and expressing support for the mutinous soldiers. Well, barely 12 hours after gunfire first rang out in several neighborhoods in Cotonou on Sunday, Benin President Patrice Talon announced that the coup had been thwarted, stating that the country's armed forces and National Guard remained loyal to the Republic, asserting that they stood firm, recaptured their positions, and cleared all resistance held by the mutineers. 14 people have been arrested in connection with the coup attempt. Well, this attempted coup adds Benin to a growing list of West African nations facing military takeovers. The timing of the coup is significant. Benin is preparing for a presidential election in April that will mark the end of President Talon's tenure after 9 years in power since 2016. And I'll take a post on X from Delta, who wrote, Delta Wire, he wrote, "This trend will keep reoccurring amongst African states unless there is a massive international revolution that compels our leaders to start governing with fairness and equity until they start utilizing resources of the state for the welfare of the people. Africans will keep rising every day in whatever form, shape, or nomenclature until the people start seeing the dividends of democracy. They'll keep being rebellious. African leaders are the problem, and they evolve from amongst us. We're all culpable on this." Well, amid reactions to the failed coup attempt, the coup leader, Pascal Tigri, reappeared in a video which went viral on Sunday, stating that they undertook the mission to free Benin from the dictatorship of President Talon before going on to caution France to stay out of their internal affairs. While ECOWAS released a statement on X condemning the coup, describing it as an unconstitutional move, while Nigeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated that they stand in firm solidarity with the government and the people of the Republic of Benin. Subsequently, at the request of President Talon, Nigeria sent Air Force fighter jets and ground troops to take over Benin's airspace and help dislodge the coup plotters, eliciting more reactions. And I'll take this tweet from Chris, who wrote, well, actually, there was a statement that was sent out by Bayo Ononuga. If we can take that statement before I take Chris's tweet. But Ayo, I'd like your comment on what I've read so far with the re-emergence of that actual coup plotter who came out to say that France should stay away from their business. Yes, this is Bayo Ononuga's post on X. He wrote, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has commended the gallantry of Nigeria's military on Sunday for responding swiftly to the requests by the government of Benin Republic to save its 35-year-old democracy from coup plotters. Well, he went on to state that the Nigerian government acted on two separate requests from the government of Benin. First, by ordering fighter jets to enter the country and take over the airspace to help dislodge the coup plotters. And secondly, the authorities in Benin requested the deployment of Nigerian Air Force assets within Beninois airspace for surveillance and rapid intervention operations under Benin-led coordination, with Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Olufemi Oluyode, confirming that all the requests had been fulfilled. And, I wanted to take that response from an ex-user. I'll take that response after I hear from you. I'd love your comments about what has been going on so far, the fact that, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had, responded to this coup attempt swiftly, and the word swiftly had to be highlighted, really. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Okay, so a number of things this morning. Number one is that Benin Republic is about the same age as Nigeria in terms of independence, gaining independence. Benin Republic gained independence on the 1st of August 1960. However, as you can tell, they haven't been able to fully enjoy the dividends of the democratic system of government they've adopted, since gaining independence. And this, you would see the trend across different countries on the African continent, and particularly the West Africa region, whereby there have been a number of coups. In the Republic of Benin itself, only less than a year ago, two close associates of the president were indicted as, a coup was foiled, and two close associates of the president were indicted and handed 20 years imprisonment for the attempted coup. A little over a year afterwards, we are now seeing another attempt of a coup. A number of things could have been said would be responsible, Oji. Number one, of course, is the lack of strong institutions, the fact that the people do not believe that they are enjoying the dividends of democracy. Only last month, the president had, through the rubber stamp assembly, extended the tenure of presidency limits from 5 years to 7 years. And this was said to be preparing the grounds for his anointed candidate in the next cycle of election, which is meant to take place next year, April of 2026. So these are some of the factors that some people have highlighted as a reason for why their agitations and a small group of influential people, as was described by the foreign interior minister, have come together now to announce this coup. Thankfully, Nigeria rose up to the task as big brother. Dr. Bati said something earlier this morning, which I agree with, because I actually took note of that when it happened. Because one of the reasons, and number one, is Nigeria showing up as a big brother and still that influential force on the West African bloc. But also, very importantly, to sound a note of warning, because we have seen copycat coups along the West African region that anybody, group, individual that wants to think or has thoughts around this kind of move should know that Nigeria would respond and respond swiftly. That we have a military that's able to counter any kind of coup attempt and would block it. Now, there have been conversations around the legality of Nigerians' movement, and there's been a broad conversation around this. But we'll see whether or not the president will transmit a letter to the Senate before 12 noon as the deadline given to be able to express his invasion, as it were, or help, because they said he received a letter. But again, what people are saying is that, so Nigeria is strong like this.
Let me tell you,
we should be able to do this. I want that same swiftly to be given to the way, of course we know that terrorism is complicated. It's more complicated than this. But there's some certain areas. It means that we can swiftly arrest the bandits in the forest. We can swiftly get all these kidnappers. Nigeria has the power to do this. Let us do it.
Let me take the tweet about the idea of how Nigeria can swiftly respond. This is Chris, who wrote on X. Highlight the word swiftly. Interesting. So Nigeria has the capacity to swiftly defend democracy in another country, yet our democracy is in shambles. A democratically elected governor, Sim Fubara, was illegally removed. The current Senate president was imposed not too democratically elected. Terrorists are decimating our people and stealing their lands. And a brigadier general was gracefully killed by terrorists, etc. Well, at this point, I hope that the President of the United States can order the U.S. military to carry out military operations in Nigeria to flush out the terrorists swiftly. And, that was a harsh response. No, I mean, I would call it, it would appear harsh on television, but that's really the mindset of a lot of Nigerians who believe that these are the things that are going on in Nigeria. I'm hoping that Nigeria can actually also swiftly respond. Online, we also saw reports that Nigeria had bombed France. The invasion had occurred. We saw some videos that were posted online as well. From
bombed France?
Bombed. Thank you for
Benin.
that. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
Bombed
Benin.
Benin. Yeah. And I'll take this. That's one of the videos we saw from Cotonou with an actual, time code from that country. And I'll take a post from investigative journalist David Hudeyi, who wrote, "I think Nigeria is officially over tonight. Bombing your neighbor because a white guy in Paris told you to. Carrying out airstrikes against a fellow African country because Emmanuel Macron wanted you to. Only Appetite South Africa ever did something like this." Well, meanwhile, we'll take this press statement before I come to you, Rufai. Let me come to you with that. And thank you for that highlight, because the reason I said bomb France was because a lot of people had been saying that the French president had intervened with that phone call that he made, telling the president that he was going to help with, security in Nigeria as well.
Okay, see, I might not support many things the government of Grab does, but we can't pour on Nigeria's parade. It's not today that Nigeria has been investing heavily in securing our fellow West African brothers. We did that in Liberia. Over the years, between Liberia and Sierra Leone, we spent about $15 billion of our own money. So it's not today we've been doing that. The problems we had with it was that the president was supposed to notify the Senate about it. Secondly, the question we should now ask is, there's also a correlation with the case of Niger. That, okay, in the case of Niger, we didn't go in there because there were protests and everything, because of cultural ties and all of that. But the most important question we should ask is, what is leading to all this coup? African leaders themselves. Talon is not a sin. See the protests. People were saying, Abba Talon. Down with Talon. So a lot of people were not really in support of this man that had victimized a lot of people in this country. He has put in his finance minister as a likely successor now. Just on Saturday, the National Assembly in Benin Republic passed a law saying they were going to extend presidential term and things like that. So the leaders themselves have not crowned themselves in glory. And that's what we should keep talking about. If we keep having these Yahoo-minded leaders on the African continent, and once they get into power, they think life is all about them. And it's not only Talon. We could go back to the days of Matthew Kerekou. Kerekou also did the same too in Benin Republic. So when are we going to sit down with these leaders, abba with these leaders? Just like Thomas Isidore Noah Shankara used to say back in the days, colonialism, abba, imperialism, abba. When are we going to say abba with these bad leaders on the African continent? Because if we don't say that, the coup will continue to happen. Despite the fact that we say we do not support coup, we are totally against coup. The coups will continue to happen if we don't speak to against these leaders that are making the condition rife for these coups.
Like I rightly said, Dr. Abati, French President Emmanuel Macron over the weekend pledged to increase, French support for Nigeria in tackling terrorism and its array of security challenges. After a conversation with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Macron made this declaration in a post on X on Sunday, in which he stated that no one can remain in the sidelines of the fight in the country. And, really quickly on everything that we've discussed so that we can sum this up, and then I'll move to the other stories.
Okay, first, let me talk geopolitics. Now, Nigeria is the most prominent country in West Africa. It's the big power in West Africa. Now, up north, you have Egypt. Down south, you have South Africa. So, in terms of geopolitics, Africa, the primary powers relate to Africa in terms of that tripod. Now, America still has its influence with Egypt. It seems to be losing influence with Nigeria. Nigeria is moving towards France. Nigeria is moving towards China and other partners. South Africa, America does not even have a good relationship with South Africa. Now, the subtext, in my view, is that you now see America trying to see how it can regain its foothold in West Africa. In West Africa, that has a part of it has gone in the direction of Russia, another part has gone in the direction of China. Nigeria is very friendly under this president with France. So President Macron also calls, he says he's having this solidarity with Nigeria. So it's the subtext that we should look at. And that is why it's important that Nigeria is now setting up a working group led by the NSA Ribadu, and we are talking to America, and they are talking about strategic partnership. The subtext of it is, I think America is trying to find a way to work its way back to regain its influence within this region. As for the coup in Benin, Republic of Benin. It was President Boni Yayi, former president of Republic of Benin, who used to refer to Republic of Benin as Nigeria's 37th state. And he used to refer to President Jonathan as my elder brother and President Obasanjo as his father. That's how close we are, you know, both in terms of culture, in terms of amity and all of that. So that was why I said, you will say that President Tinubu has acted reasonably by intervening in that country. Not on the invitation of France. I have not seen where it was France that asked Nigeria to go to Cameroon. France does not have such powers. What the Ononuga statement quoted is that there are two requests from Republic of Benin.
I read out, yes.
Yes, so two requests, and it was on the basis of that they acted. Two, President Tinubu may have said, look, we could suffer collateral damage if there is a coup next door. There could be demonstration effect and all of that. So he deployed the troops. So you may say that is reasonable. But does he have the authority to deploy our troops?
Those were the questions.
Air Force. Does he have the powers under the Constitution? And I say he does not. And that was why I said earlier that Section 305, sub 2 and 3 says, okay, even if he acts unilaterally, within a period of 14 days, he has to seek the concurrence of the National Assembly of Nigeria. And that this money is early enough for him to quickly go to that National Assembly, call a meeting of the National Defense Council, and get the ratification of those bodies for deploying our troops.
Yes.
Because it is you and I, that will pay for the troops that were sent there. You know,
which is why you think...
And Nigeria is a sovereign country.
Right.
So he needs to get that concurrence if they are going to remain there. And if the Senate says no, the National Assembly says no, as they did in the example of Niger, then those troops will have to return immediately.
So even when the president of the other country requested for him to have invaded,
you have to go through the National
So you see
Assembly
the reason why people on social media, investigative journalists like David Hundeyin will say that Nigeria should not have acted that way. People are now even saying, so why are we condemning the the invasion that Trump had said, or Trump had said that he was going to?
No, that's a different.
I'm just saying those are the response. That's the response.
It's not intellectually connected.
No, why not? If Trump said that if Nigeria does not keep its house in order, we will send troops on ground. That's all he said. And then the whole country went, berserk.
Now Trump will need to get the concurrence of Congress.
Which is why he has said...
He doesn't get.
He has to...
He has strikes in Venezuela. He didn't get the concurrence of Congress.
No, he has not declared war yet.
Did he get the concurrence of Venezuela in the airstrikes he did in Venezuela?
No, he's still doing body language.
No, Audrey has a point. Audrey's right.
Audrey's right. This is the conversation.
It's the same conversation. No, she is correct.
But why is it not different?
It is the same conversation.
Why is it not different?
Dr. Abati.
Which is what you're saying now.
He cannot declare war.
Which is what you're saying.
The Congress is now tackling Trump on those airstrikes now. That's just it. So it's the same conversation.
No, you
are correct.
He has not declared war.
It's not a case of declaration of war. Openly bombing another person territorial ground. It's not a declaration of war.
Is Nigeria bombing?
Do you know he has not
bombing?
Okay, so what do you want
Republic of Benin?
Oh, did they bomb targets of Republic of Benin?
No, are they bombing?
Is there not bombing of targets of Republic?
No,
You get the point now. What do you think? Share your thought with me on the comment section. And of course, you know the vibe. Click on that subscribe button, follow, and share for more updates. Because like this, we move.